These standards will shape how AI is developed, deployed, and ultimately how it serves society. So they need your voice, your perspective, and your engineering. So, good evening, everyone. It's a true pleasure and privilege to be here with you today. My name is Paula Palade, and as Gani introduced me, I am the Senior Technical Specialist for AI and Standardization at Jaguar Land Rover. Okay, so I've been given 10 minutes to speak to you. Ideally, not just fill your heads with acronyms, but offer you some food for thought about engineering AI and the roles of standards in its application. Now, let me begin not with theory, but actually with a picture. Anyone would like to care to hazard a guess where this is and what does it represent?
Cool.
Thank you. Can you please speak up, Cornwall? Excellent. Thank you so much. Absolutely, that's right. This is Cornwall, more specifically, the tin coast of Cornwall, once the beating heart of the Cornish tin rush. Now, when people talk about AI today, they often compare it to the California gold rush. That metaphor certainly captures the frenzy, the promise of wealth, and the disruptive potential. But I'd like to offer you something a bit closer to home, a more local analogy. But just one is just as powerful, the tin rush. Cornwall experienced a boom that brought riches and innovation, and yes, it also reshaped society. It demanded new infrastructure, new safety measures, and new ways of thinking about human labor and risk. Sound familiar? Now, look again at this mining network. Some of these shafts extend hundreds of feet underground, 1,000 feet or 600 meters to be precise, and some over a mile beneath the seabed. It's staggering to imagine that this was happening over 150 years ago. And just like mining back then, AI today is reaching further and deeper into our lives. So, what can we learn from the past? One lesson is clear. Any powerful technological development must keep societal impact front and center. Now, since we're gathered here at the British Motor Museum, let me show you another image. It will be the penultimate one. Okay. So let's look at this image. Anyone else care to throw a guess of what it represents? You can find this image downstairs in the museum if you have been today in the museum.
It's the red flag, Matt, keeping them down.
Thank you. Table 1 is winning, I feel. I'm trying to build supporters, but I think I have only hecklers. Okay, so yes, that's right. That's the introduction of the infamous Red Flag Act, which effectively required someone to walk 60 yards in front of a motorized vehicle waving a red flag to warn pedestrians. This sounds very absurd today, doesn't it? I'll just give you some more facts about that. So it also brought with itself the first speed limits. You had 5 miles per hour in towns and 10 miles per hour outside towns, and also the first fine of 10 pounds if you exceeded that limit. This happened in the same time as the Cornish mine were being mined. Now you might think, okay, sure, Britain is a funny place like that, and we liked laws like that, and I'm sure there were lobbyists and investors in locomotives and horses and carriages that wanted to protect their investment. But you'll not be surprised that actually in Pennsylvania, there was a similar law introduced in about the same time that said, if you're driving a motorized vehicle on the road and you happen to encounter cattle or livestock or horses, you should quickly dismantle the vehicle and hide it in the bushes so the animal doesn't get frightened. Now, let's go back to the Red Flag Act and the image we have here. At this time, this law reflected the public fear and the need for society to catch up with the pace of technology. In other words, the success of technology often depends not just on how clever the invention is, but how well it fits in the society it serves. And that brings me neatly to the main topic of my talk today, which is standards. They are the bridge between innovation and trust. Think of them as society's way of saying, yes, we're ready, but let's do it safely. So let's look at this final image I have for you today. This is a map of the AI standardization landscape. Be honest, does this look familiar to you? Or is it a bit of a blur? If you find this overwhelming, you're not alone. The AI standardization ecosystem is growing fast, and it's ever more complex. But it is also vital. These standards are no longer just nice-to-haves. Increasingly, they are becoming regulatory mandates. Just look at the EU AI Act and the other emerging frameworks around the world. So here's my call to action, especially for table number 1. Educate yourself, get involved. Don't let this happen without you. These standards will shape how AI is developed, deployed, and ultimately how it serves society. So they need your voice, your perspective, and your engineering. And let's not forget, it's thanks to decades of standardization and legislation that jobs like mining, once life-threatening, have become dramatically safer. Let's make sure AI follows the same trajectory, from chaotic boom to safe, structured, and society-serving innovation. Thank you.